Hello there, lovely people. This is Ashley here, sending you my love from whatever reality I happen to be in today to you in whichever reality you find yourself in. Now, first of all, I want to apologise that I haven't really been here very much of late. I've been having some ongoing tests. I haven't really been very well, but that's by the by, really. Today, I want to discuss the fact that all these new different discoveries that have been, all massive discoveries that I think, since the Mandela Effect, how many have there been? Not long ago, we were kind of, as a species, giving it, well, we already know everything now, don't we? We've looked at all the ancient sites, we've seen everything there is to see. The only thing left for us to really discover is what's at the bottom of the sea. Because we'd got that. We know that we've only been a civilization for 6,000 years. We've discovered everything there is to discover on the planet. There isn't anything left for us to find. So, suddenly, we're finding loads of different things, making loads of different discoveries. They've discovered we have a separate string of DNA. Now, we have a separate string of DNA that apparently they didn't know was there. But it's there. That's not an ordinary discovery. They've worked out the human genome. They've looked so thoroughly at the human genome, at our DNA. There is no way that they have just suddenly gone, oh, what's this? What's this that we've missed? Yeah, so there you have that kind of thing. Also, we have this massive leap in quantum computing. Massive leap in quantum computing. I've discussed quantum computing before on one of my other vlogs. And yet here we are there, recently they discovered how to different parallel universes working together. I mean, come on, people. We weren't that advanced. We weren't that advanced that suddenly, well, basically what they're saying is they found a reason to prove that what we're going through is real, is the point there. But, oh my God, the leap in quantum physics and quantum understanding has gone mental. Like I said, I watched a Royal Institute lecture, and it was about particle physics, and basically the professor in it, he actually ended up by saying this is in 2017, he ended up by saying he couldn't wait for us to actually build a proper quantum computer, because in 2017 there wasn't one. We weren't that advanced. He said in 2017, and yet I look back and it says that 2010, Lockheed Martin was the very first company that ever used quantum computer, and that was Lockheed Martin back in 2010. And then suddenly we're able to calculate the possibilities of one choice across parallel dimensions, universes, whatever it is you want to call it. And then we've got the archaeology, the massive discoveries in archaeology. I mean, we've got it's like on top of a mountain. I can't remember the country it's in. It's a massive thing. You can't miss it, on top of a mountain. Suddenly that's just been found. Google has apparently mapped the whole of the earth, but no, suddenly we found this new thing. And the fact that we are now discovering things like Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Through the discoveries in Göbekli Tepe, they have actually moved civilization back to at least 12,000 years instead of the 6 that they are still apparently teaching. And that we were taught there was absolutely no way we could have ever existed as a civilization more than 6,000 years ago. But there are things all over the place, out of, objects that are out of their time. And in Göbekli Tepe, they've actually had to admit now that it's 12,000 years. But then there are things like this, the hammer in the piece of rock. That's millions of years. All of the new discoveries, the new leaps. SpaceX. How many of you have heard of SpaceX? you know, before a couple of years ago. Suddenly, SpaceX and Elon Musk is like he's the most, you know, he's been seen and known of, and this SpaceX has been sending things up into space. We never had a SpaceX. There never was one. In fact, quite frankly, there never was an Elon Musk either. It's like, where did he come from? Where did he pop out from? So, you know, where I come from anyway, where I come from, there was no SpaceX. There was no sending, you know, this private space company. What there was Richard Branson trying to make one, a space company, but there was no actual space company that was sending rockets and cars into space. Sent a car into space. Have you ever heard such bollocks in your life? But it's the leaps forward in a very short space of time. They've just discovered different things in Egypt that are explaining that those pyramids were not made when they said they were made, when we've been taught they were made. So many things are changing and are being discovered, you know, and yet here we were not long ago, excuse me, I need a drink. Here we were not long ago, thinking that we knew it all, that we discovered everything that there was to discover on Earth. There was nothing left. There were mysteries to be solved, but they only weren't solving the mysteries because they weren't actually listening to any of the actual bits of evidence that they had. If it wasn't fitting in with their mindset, then it was disregarded. And let's face it, how many things have come from people who are not part of the establishment all the way through our discoveries as a civilization, the things that we've discovered and now come to, you know, these things aren't discovered by the establishment because the establishment have closed minds. But even the establishment at the moment are finding out new things. I found it quite shocking that they found out that we have another organ in the body. It's a lining near the stomach. What do you mean? How could you not have known that was there? And it was an organ. Oh, it's too much. The blending of realities is confusing, to say the least. It's very, very confusing. And I'm seeing a mixture of, it's like the things that they have suddenly appeared that they can't explain. They're suddenly now saying, ah, right, well, that was there all along, and this is what we've made of it now. We've discovered this, and we found out that, blah, blah, blah. It wasn't there before. We couldn't see it before, but now we found it. I mean, they found out that the moon is in Earth's atmosphere. Have you ever heard anything so stupid in your life? They didn't know that before. They're claiming to have sent things to the end of the universe. But they didn't know that that the moon was in the Earth's atmosphere. I mean, it's absolutely ludicrous. It really is. I can't. The things that they're discovering and they're admitting that they're discovering are very much advanced into what I know as my reality. My reality, there was no SpaceX. We were nowhere near the quantum abilities and capabilities that we've got now. Nowhere near. And, you know, new animals there are new animals being found. It's like, there's just trying to keep up with it all. It's really mind-blowing and difficult. Sorry for slipping, it's a bit hot. And it's affecting, I mean, I have always been interested in ancient civilizations. I've looked into these things in the past. My passions were biology and genetics and astronomy and ancient civilizations and looking for answers and questioning always. And then you get part questions answered and then they throw the Mandela Effect at you. So trying to work out, you know, what's new, as in really, nothing's really new anymore because everything is new to us. See, this is what I'm finding very difficult. My passions, all of my passions. I don't trust any of them anymore. How can I be fascinated by genetics and biology when my own physical makeup and I've changed inside my face. We all know about organs being different. You know, sockets behind the eyes that never used to be there. All kinds of weird stuff going on there. So how can I be excited about genetics and biology when my biology's changed and they've actually found another string of DNA in my genetics? How am I supposed to be excited about space when I don't believe a word of it? I already didn't believe we'd been to the moon, but I'm supposed to believe that we can now send a car off into space, and oh no, it's all too much. It's all too much, and that's another thing. NASA have said that there's this star system that's entered the Milky Way from another galaxy, right? Well, hello, Nibiru, Planet X. I mean, everything, all the myths and everything all seem to be connected to the Mandela Effect. It's like layers, as if our understanding before the Mandela Effect were layers of what has come before being sent down to us. And so it's kind of, our myths, our legends, I think are based in fact. And that this is a process that the Earth has been through before. I'm not sure why, I don't understand any of it. Believe me, I don't. But this process, the renewal, destruction and renewal that we're going, I think it's happened before. I think that's what the Mayan calendar was saying. I think that's what the Hopi prophecy is saying. I think that's what Revelation's saying, because altogether they all kind of add up. They all add up. Everything's connected about end times, and I think that this has happened before. The flood, for instance. I don't know about how strong it's been in people seeing reality changes. I'm not sure about that. But even then, I'm talking about reality changes. And I know for a certain fact there are some of you that I speak to that aren't in the same reality as me, even now. We don't have changes at the same time. I don't even think we're on the same world at the same time anymore. We all used to be on the same world, this globe that was bobbing along through space quite happily, and I was excited about what's out there because I knew something else was out there. I've known it all my life. I've had dreams about space since I was like 18 months old. So, changes in the sky, I've been waiting for things to happen. But when it does, and there's no explanation for it, and it's, how on earth can I be enthusiastic about the discoveries? I mean, some of the things like Göbekli Tepe, it just says, yes, we were right. We knew that civilization had been before. I read Immanuel Velikovsky's Mankind in Amnesia when I was about 27. Bear in mind, I'm going to be 54 this month. I was 27 when I read that. And that was like, oh, this is what I've needed to know. And it led, I didn't think it'd lead me down the Mandela Effect path. I didn't think that for 1 second. But it has. The things that are going on in the Mandela Effect are not just about your own memory, your memory, your shared memory with other people. It's living with it. How can I have the same passion, enthusiasm? I mean, it was very difficult. It's coming spring. I've always been connected to the earth. I've always bored the living shit out of my children, giving it, can you smell that? Autumn's coming. That kind of thing. I've always been like that. Yeah, winter is finishing, spring's coming, and I'm finding it really bloody difficult to get pleasure out of it because I'm not in my reality. It isn't mine. It isn't real to me. It's different. I'm walking through a different world every day of my life. Thankfully, I haven't seen any in-your-face changes for a while, although I must admit, thank you, I haven't had very many personal personal in my home kind of effect things, but I have, because on the windowsill near my sink, it was a little bit slanted and things kept falling off it, and then one day I woke up and everything stayed on it as flat as anything. So thank you, Mandela Effect, for fixing my windowsill. I'm sorry, I'm making light because it seems that whenever we shift, whenever our reality moves, whenever we see the changes around us and we know that something's happened and we've moved, we're taking the memories with us, but the person that, you know, the other person that's been in the other, the reality, I've jumped in another me. Clearly I'm in another me. I'm in another me in another place. Although it kind of looks the same, except for obviously my house with my fixed windowsill, McDonald's changing, things around in the street changing and things. You can still feel it. You can still, it's got a physicality to it. But it's not mine. And this body isn't mine. And every time we see new changes, we know we've moved again. And I'm getting further and further away from me. I mean, me in here, travelling around willy-nilly. But the thing's me, the person that had passions. Mad passions. I mean, I was passionate about genetics. It excited me. Ancient history excited me. Oh, biology and the earth and the way everything works. It all fascinated me. And at the moment, I'm really not sure what's going on. And it means pretty much everything that was that were my interests. I mean, even down to conspiracy theories, all are connected to this Mandela Effect, and it's hard. It's hard trying to enjoy life. However, the joy that comes naturally that I have no problem with is with my grandchildren. Oddly enough, I mean, I've thought long and hard about it all, believe me, but I get real joy being with them, although that is a topic of a conversation for another time, because it, as I said, it troubled me, but it's just natural, pure joy that I share with them. The Mandela Effect doesn't come into it. It does with other members of my family and loved ones, but it doesn't with my grandchildren. That's my one joy here. So I don't know where we're going. Every time we moved, it seems to be more shit. We're not getting into any better reality as we move, are we? We haven't suddenly found that peace has broken out throughout the world and the rich people have said, oh, we're really, really sorry. We've been greedy and we want to make everything better. And, you know, you saw us spend billions on a church. We're now going to spend billions on making sure that everybody has a place to live. That everybody has the basics of a roof over their head, of food in the belly and a drink of water. The very basics. No, we don't move into those worlds, do we? We move into shittier and shittier worlds and realities where we're being thrown ever closer to disaster. And I don't like it. Anyway, thank you very much yet again for listening to my mad ramblings. I need to get it out of my system, my thoughts. Thank you very much, Karen, for phoning me and speaking to me for so long. You know, you help so much. I will be getting back to you. Everybody else for sending me your emails, your love, your thoughts and your prayers. I couldn't do any of this without you, so thank you so much. I appreciate and love you all.